Good morning. Welcome back to our weekly professional insights, where we talk to licensed professionals about real issues affecting business owners and help them see how a coordinated financial plan can help them optimize their business and financial plans. And this morning, I got a good friend of mine, Jim Crump, a seasoned life insurance specialist with extensive experience in helping business owners navigate some of these challenges in terms of vulnerabilities. And Jim is here to share his insights on how life insurance is not just a necessity, but a strategic asset to protect against those vulnerabilities. So before we jump into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss an episode. We are here every Tuesday morning with professionals like Jim. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
I am well, Mike. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. I love these interviews, partly because one, we get to talk, but two, it's amazing the things that I learn from talking with professionals like you. And I've been in the business for so long. It seems like a long time. It's been 13 years. But it's awesome. The fact that if I don't know something, then the odds are some of our viewers don't. And so I like drilling into your guys' brains and pulling out some of this information.
I learn something every week when I watch these.
I love it.
Yes,
I love it. So Jim, let's just kind of start off at a high level here. And just a lot of people, there's a lot of misconception about life insurance in general. What is the primary purpose of life insurance for an individual, and a little bit different, but how does it differ from a business owner?
Well, at its most base level, life insurance provides an amount of money when the person who is the covered individual passes on and no longer is here on earth. It leaves an amount of money to a beneficiary that is named in the contract. That person receives the amount of money that is named in the contract. So if there's a $100,000 life insurance policy, when that person passes away, somebody's getting $100,000, or it's going to be split between people as specifically stated in the contract.
Now, we're going to get into some of these details here in a second, Jim, but why is it important for business owners specifically to consider life insurance as a tool?
Well, it can be used several different ways, but life insurance is an inexpensive way to insure and protect assets within a business, whether it is a partner, whether it is a key person in your employment that has a special knowledge, special ability that is incredibly valuable to the business, or whether it's used as an employee benefit. There's lots of different ways that life insurance can be used in a business. And I hope today we'll zero in on a couple of those.
Oh, we certainly will. Definitely will.
Yeah.
And before we get into those some of those details, what are specifically some of the misconceptions about life insurance that is related specifically to business owners?
I think that business owners have a tendency to think that's a private matter. That's between me and my wife, me and my kids, me and my whoever, my church, whoever it is I'm going to leave this money to. But actually, life insurance is a very inexpensive, of course, that's a misconception. Oh, life insurance is expensive. Realistically, life insurance is very inexpensive unless you're 80 years old and have major health problems. You know, it's an inexpensive way to ensure that certain things are taken care of should an untimely death occur within the business. And oftentimes that is overlooked as a very valuable piece of the process when they're putting together all of their business insurance covering property and casualty issues and what have you. Often life is overlooked.
So, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because a lot of these other insurance products help maintain the operations of the business. If something were to happen, a car wreck, an injury, somebody falls at work, or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And you kind of touched on it a second ago, Jim, but how does life insurance contribute to maintaining those operations in the absence of the owner?
Well, if constructed properly, a life insurance policy on an owner or a key employee or on two partners can be specifically directed to be a fund the business can use to continue should one of those people, not show up for work tomorrow because they're no longer with us, if you will. If it's again, there's pieces. There's the owner of the policy, there's the person who's covered, and then there's the person who's the beneficiary. So working with a life insurance professional, you can make sure each of those is correctly dialed in so that if something were to happen, there are funds available to keep the business going, keep the partnership alive, or dissolve a partnership. Different things that can be used in order to make sure that the business continues to function.
And there's a lot of policies that are available to business owners, what are some of those options that business owners have available to them? And maybe because there's so many of them, maybe like what are the top 2 or 3 that a business owner should be looking at?
Well, I'll use the instance of a partnership first. If there is a partnership in this business, whether it's 50-50, 60-40, or whatever it is, having a buy-sell agreement in place should there be an untimely death, and then having it funded with life insurance is A, very inexpensive to do, but B, it is a piece that allows the business, the partnership, to continue, because if one of the partners were to pass away, it is not the ideal situation that the remaining partner now has a new partner, which is the spouse of the individual who passed away. While they may be good friends, they may discover that they're not the best of partners in the business. So having a buy-sell agreement funded by this life insurance makes sure that there's money to buy out the other partner so that this person who is left can take over and continue to run the business. Another very important type of life insurance for business, I mentioned a little while ago, is when you have a key person in your business, an employee that has special skills, special abilities, special knowledge, or maybe they just are the very best in the whole world at doing this thing, whatever it is. If they were to pass away, your business would suffer greatly because that ability is gone, and you now have to go find someone who can do that as well or almost as well as that other individual. Having life insurance on that person allows for money within the business, A, to keep the business going, and B, to fund an effort to go find a replacement for that person in the business.
So when I talk to business owners, Jim, one of the questions I always ask them is, do you have a partner? And the answer, let's just say the answer is yes. And then the best question I've ever asked a business owner is, do you want your partner's spouse in your business if something were to happen to them today? And I've never heard anybody say, yeah, that'd be okay. Yeah. Every one of them says no. And then it's amazing, and we talked about this a little before we got online here, is how many individuals don't have something in place because of, look, they're busy, they're this, they're that, but bad things happen every day. Yeah. And it's important to have these things in place. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, if we look at the typical partnership in this country, it's a couple of buddies that get together and start a business. And maybe at some point they incorporate the business, and maybe their tax attorney or their bookkeeper or whoever it was set them up a little corporation. Maybe it's subchapter S. Maybe they split the profits at the end of each year evenly, whatever. And the thought of having insurance beyond insurance on the trucks, insurance on the building, and that kind of stuff, workers' comp, maybe if they've built to that point, they've never thought about the fact that they could find themselves very quickly in a situation, should one of them die prematurely, where the remaining partner now has a new partner, like you said, a spouse or even a girlfriend, whoever their beneficiary is of their part of the business. And having this life insurance in place and a buy-sell agreement specifically stating how this will transpire keeps that from getting messy. And I'll leave the word messy hanging in the air and let you just figure out what messy looks like.
So, and that's a good thing that you brought up. And I want to highlight this. What you said there, Jim, was that at the end of the year, partners split the revenue. And I had a friend do this. And so they were collecting, him and his partner were getting $100,000 a year as a salary. And at the end, they would get anywhere from $75,000 to $150,000 as they split the revenue, right? And in that scenario, I know you're not a CPA. I know you're not a tax professional.
No.
Right? I want to be clear with that, but neither am I. But one of the things I mentioned was, you could utilize that money within the business far more efficiently than taking that distribution. Is this something that a business owner could use that money for?
Sure, they could. Sure, they could. They could take part of the profits and use that each year to pay the annual premium, which, we're talking like it's some huge number. If it's funded with term insurance, and maybe it's a 30-year term policy, this is not an expensive thing. We're not talking tens of thousands of dollars to fund this. We're talking about a reasonable amount of money that doesn't dig very deeply into those yearly profits, and it protects the ongoing nature of the business, such that with the help of the buy-sell agreement written by an attorney who knows what they're doing, funded by life insurance. You have a clear path should you meet that date where one of the partners passes away and you have to make decisions. It's in black and white, and it's funded, and it's over. It's not a matter of what should we do. It's here's what we're going to do.
And the interesting thing, Jim, is like we can't go into all of these. I've got them all pulled up here. We can't go through all of these, but as an example, right? Then obviously we've talked about buy-sell agreements. There's life insurance for succession planning. You mentioned a key person, which could be an executive of the company. It could be just a key employee. Right. I mean, you could utilize these tools for attracting and retaining top talent. I mean, absolutely. There's a lot of things that life insurance can be used. And so one question I had, Jim, and I know neither one of us are CPAs, but just out of curiosity, are there possible tax deductions for utilizing some of these tools within the business for these individual key people?
Some are, some aren't. Okay. So you have to be very careful and not, please seek the counsel of a business-oriented CPA.
Yep.
Find someone who is not just an extension of the IRS, but somebody who understands tax planning and can consult with you and help you figure out how to construct these life insurance contracts such that you can get the maximum benefit, whether it's the ability to write off the premiums or the ability to receive the funds out of the contract tax-free. Or in other instances, if I've actually seen businesses have policies that build cash value, and those cash values can be accessed on a loan basis by the company for the business continuity piece should one of the key employees or owners, in this particular instance, it wouldn't take a death to do this. It might be just that there's a cash need in the business, and maybe you can borrow from within one of those policies. And again, borrow, not withdraw for good, not cancel the policy, but borrow. And those proceeds could be free of taxation. Talk with your CPA.
Jim, you mentioned getting in touch with a qualified tax professional. I know that you work closely with other members of the National Referral Network. How important is it for you to have those resources in that team environment?
It's unbelievably important. And the reason being, I have clients depending on me for specific pieces of this, and knowing that I just at the touch of a phone call or a quick email, I can bring in someone who is absolutely great at that piece, whether it's a CPA, whether it's a tax attorney that can help write up a buy-sell agreement, or whether it's a financial professional who can help someone with assets under management because they want to get money into the stock market. I have all those people right at my fingertips that I can call on to make sure that my clients are best taken care of.
I love it, Jim. I really appreciate time. I want to be cognizant of your time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, Jim's website is in the description below. Please reach out to us. Let us know how we can help. Introductions to Jim, happy to facilitate it. Hit that subscribe button. We're here every Tuesday. Jim, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, and we'll see you next time.
That sounds great. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thanks, guys.